Have you ever woken up from a dream, feeling like it carried a powerful message, yet you could not fully understand it? What if those vivid journeys you experience at night are not random thoughts, but divine whispers guiding you toward your true purpose? In this video, you will learn how to unlock the hidden spiritual language of your dreams and discover God's incredible plan for your life. Many people wake up from dreams with a strange weight in their spirit. Not fear, just a knowing. You open your eyes and something lingers. The images stay with you, the emotions remain, and even hours later, a quiet thought returns again and again. This meant something. That inner stirring is not accidental. The Bible shows us that God often speaks when the world is quiet, when distractions fade, when the body rests, when the mind releases control, and when the spirit becomes receptive. Dreams are one of heaven's oldest communication channels. Before scripture was written, before temples were built, before prophets stood in public places, God spoke in the stillness of the night. Job 33:14-15 says, "For God does speak, now one way, now another, though no one perceives it. In a dream, in a vision of the night, when deep sleep falls on people as they slumber in their beds." Notice this carefully. God is speaking, even when we are unaware. The issue is not that heaven is silent. The issue is perception. Many people miss divine direction, not because God is quiet, but because they have not learned the language He is using. Dreams do not usually speak in plain sentences. They speak in symbols, in impressions, in emotions, in patterns. That is why a dream can feel powerful, yet unclear. It feels important, but difficult to explain. This is not confusion. This is spiritual communication. Jesus himself confirmed this principle when he said in Matthew 13:13, "Though seeing, they do not see. Though hearing, they do not hear or understand." Spiritual messages require spiritual discernment. Throughout Scripture, dreams were never entertainment, they were directional. Joseph dreamed of his future long before it arrived. Pharaoh dreamed, and the economic future of nations was revealed. Solomon received wisdom in a dream. The wise men were warned in a dream to avoid Herod. Joseph, the earthly father of Jesus, was guided again and again through dreams to protect the Messiah. These were not random experiences. They were strategic revelations. And here's what many people do not realize. God has not stopped speaking this way. Acts 2:17 declares, "In the last days," God says, "I will pour out my Spirit on all people. Your sons and daughters will prophesy. Your young men will see visions. Your old men will dream dreams." Dreams are not reserved for prophets alone. They are part of the inheritance of the Spirit-filled believer. They can carry warnings, confirmations, course corrections, preparation, healing, and alignment. That is why some dreams feel urgent. That is why some dreams repeat. That is why some dreams refuse to fade. They are not meant to confuse you. They are meant to align you. But without understanding, revelation becomes frustration. You sense God is speaking, but you are unsure how to listen. And when divine messages go undecoded, people either dismiss them or misinterpret them. That is why Proverbs 25:2 says, "It is the glory of God to conceal a matter, and the glory of kings to search it out." God does not conceal truth to hide it from you. He conceals it to invite you deeper. Your dreams may already be pointing toward decisions you need to make, paths you need to avoid, callings you have delayed, or promises you have forgotten. They may be heaven's way of preparing you for what your waking mind is not yet ready to see. Your life's journey is not random, and neither are your dreams. They are whispers from God, waiting to be understood. Decoding God's whisper begins with understanding this truth. God does not speak to everyone in the exact same way. We are not just talking about common dream symbols. We are not limiting this to universal meanings found in books or online lists. We are talking about how your personal walk with God shapes the language He uses to reach you. God speaks in a language your spirit recognizes. Throughout Scripture, God tailored His communication to the person He was speaking to. He spoke to shepherds using sheep, to fishermen using nets, to farmers using seeds, to kings using authority and responsibility. In the same way, your dreams are influenced by your calling, your experiences, your prayers, and your current season. What may appear ordinary to someone else may carry deep spiritual weight for you. This is why two people can dream similar dreams and receive completely different meanings. Because divine communication is personal. Your history with God matters. Your level of sensitivity matters. Your current spiritual posture matters. God's whisper is not generic. It is intentional. Now this leads to an important question many people overlook. How do you know the difference between a regular dream and a true spiritual revelation? Not every dream is a message. Some dreams come from the mind processing daily life. Some come from stress, memory, or emotion, and some come from the spirit. The Bible gives us insight into this distinction. Ecclesiastes chapter 5 verse 3 says, "A dream comes when there are many cares." That tells us some dreams are natural, but Scripture also shows us that spiritual dreams carry a different weight. They are not easily forgotten. They do not fade quickly. They often leave an impression that stays with you long after you wake up. A spiritual revelation often comes with clarity, not confusion. Even if you do not understand it fully, you sense its importance. There is an inner awareness, a quiet conviction, a stillness that feels intentional. Practical discernment begins by paying attention to what remains after you wake up. Does the dream pull you toward God or away from Him? Does it bring conviction, direction, or confirmation, or does it simply replay daily events? God's voice aligns with His nature. He is not the author of chaos, fear, or contradiction. Now, there are specific markers that often indicate the divine message. One of the strongest signs is repetition. When a theme appears again and again across different dreams, different nights, or different forms, it is rarely accidental. Repetition in Scripture always signals emphasis. Another indicator is intense emotion. Spiritual dreams often carry deep feelings, peace, urgency, conviction, awe, or holy fear. These emotions do not feel random, they feel purposeful. And finally, there is the sense of presence. Some dreams carry an unmistakable awareness that someone is there. Not just images, not just scenes, but presence. You may not see God physically in the dream, but you feel authority, guidance, or instruction. That presence is not imagination. It is the same presence Scripture describes again and again. A presence that brings clarity, alignment, and direction. When God whispers through dreams, He is not trying to entertain you, He is inviting you to listen. And learning to decode that whisper begins with awareness, discernment, and spiritual sensitivity, because when God speaks, He always speaks with purpose. Now let's move into something practical. Understanding spiritual dreams is not just about revelation, it is about stewardship. If God is speaking, then learning how to listen becomes your responsibility. The first practical step is creating a dream journal. This does not need to be complicated. You are not writing a novel, you are capturing essence. The moment you wake up, before checking your phone, before speaking to anyone, write down whatever you remember. Even fragments matter. An image, a feeling, a single word, a color, an emotion. Spiritual dreams fade quickly, not because they are unimportant, but because the conscious mind takes over. Writing anchors revelation. Over time, patterns begin to emerge. Themes repeat, symbols evolve, and clarity grows. Your journal becomes a record of how God speaks to you. The second step is learning active listening for your subconscious mind. This is where many people struggle. We live in constant noise, external voices, internal thoughts, mental clutter. But divine communication often requires stillness. Active listening means intentionally quieting distractions, especially before sleep. Slow your breathing. Release the day. Let go of mental arguments and unfinished conversations. You are not forcing a dream, you are creating space. When the mind becomes calm, the spirit becomes attentive. This is how you tune into what Scripture calls the still small voice. God does not shout over chaos, He whispers into stillness. The third step is intentional preparation before sleep through prayer and meditation. What you carry into sleep often shapes what you encounter there. Before you sleep, acknowledge God's presence. A simple prayer is enough. Ask for clarity, ask for guidance, ask for discernment. Do not demand a dream. Invite communication. Meditation in this context is not emptying the mind, it is focusing the heart. You can meditate on a scripture, on God's promises, on a question you are seeking wisdom about. This aligns your spirit before rest, and alignment invites clarity. When prayer and stillness meet rest, the soul becomes receptive. Dreams become clearer, impressions become stronger, and divine communication becomes easier to recognize. These practices are not about control. They are about cooperation. Because when you prepare your heart, God prepares the message, and over time, you will not only dream, you will understand. Decoding spiritual dreams is only the beginning. Revelation without response remains incomplete. If God is speaking, then the next question becomes this: what will you do with what you have heard? Aligning with your prophetic path means moving beyond understanding and into action. Dreams are not given for curiosity. They are given for direction. When a dream brings clarity, confirmation, or conviction, it is inviting you to take a step, sometimes small, sometimes life-shaping. That step may be a change in mindset, a decision you have been delaying, a conversation you need to have, a habit you need to release, or a calling you need to embrace. Spiritual insight is meant to shape practical obedience. When your daily choices align with the guidance God gives you in the quiet of the night, something powerful happens. Life begins to feel ordered instead of chaotic. Decisions become clearer. Peace replaces anxiety. Purpose replaces confusion. This is not because every problem disappears, but because you are walking in alignment. Scripture calls this being led by the Spirit. And when your inner life and outer life move in the same direction, you experience stability, clarity, and rest. God's guidance in dreams is not meant to stay in the dream. It is meant to shape your waking life, and you do not have to walk this journey alone. Spiritual growth flourishes in community, so we invite you to join the discussion below. Share your most powerful spiritual dream experiences. Share what stayed with you. Share what you are learning. As we listen, reflect, and grow together, we gain deeper understanding of how God uniquely unfolds His plan in each life. Because when we align with God's voice, even the quiet whispers can lead us into extraordinary purpose and peace.